Hi guys, I'm back. Ooh, okay, we finished the picture frame. It's ready to hang on the wall, and I'm still ready to do some more crafting. So I thought I'd get back on here with you. I had to go change shirts. I was getting a little bit hot in that sweater. So we're rearing to go again. Okay, so what I want to do now is I want to do a little bit of Mod Podging. I've got some of the prettiest new napkins, so I want to try them out. You know, I told you last week, I think, anyway, that we went to Canton last month, and I got these cute little things that were, I didn't know what I was going to do with them, but they were just $6, but you can hang them on a wall. They will even sit up by themselves because of the little things that they've got on the back, so it'll make a good little shelf sitter. So we're going to do some Mod Podging today. I haven't done any in a while, so I'm anxious. I mean, as far as with napkins, we did Mod Podge on the heart behind me, but we're going to do something a little different today. My name is Pam Savage, and I am owner of Young at Heart Creations. I love to create. I love to paint. So if you're on here, please comment so I will know that everything's working. Let me get you pulled up on my iPad. Okay, I think we're good there. Let's see, there we are. Okay, alrighty, so I know you just watched a few minutes ago, and most of you are probably picking your kiddos up at school, but it's a snowy, cold, icy, beautiful day here. I love the snow. It is so gorgeous, but it has stopped snowing, but it's too cold to get outside to do anything. So I'm crafting, and I thought you might like to craft along with me. Okay, so here's what we're going to work with today. Got a pretty napkin that's got bird nest with some pretty, I don't know what kind, they're speckledy blue. We're going to be adding a little bit of color to that, but we're going to Mod Podge on this. I'm going to try to put the napkin now. I have put a little bit of white on here because anytime you put a napkin on, whatever the background is, that's what's going to show through. So if you want the true colors of the napkin that you're using, you need to give it a white background or a very light background. So that's what I've done. I've already done one, but it was on the flip side, and I didn't put any white on it. I just wanted to see what it looked like. So when we get finished, I will show you the difference in the two. All right, so first thing I've got to do is, now these were already sanded and painted this way, and I just added the white to it. This time we are going to be, okay, I did it on the left the last time. I only had two little bird napkins with the birds that would work. So we're going to put this bird on it. We're going to cut out around it just a little bit. And I just need this one panel that's facing the right way for the bird to sit on the branches. Okay, now I'm going to save these because I can use these on something else. The background on the napkin is kind of a beige, almost the same color as the board. Now napkins have 2, 3, sometimes even 4 plies. So you want to make sure that you get all of the plies apart. And just get your fingers sticky. This one's already coming apart. So there's one. The package on the napkin should show you, it will tell you how many plies there are. Just make sure you get all of them. You only want the very top layer. And you'll be able to tell because, I mean, it's very, very thin. You can see just right through it. So that was a 3-ply. So we got the bottom 2 plies off. And now we've got just our 1-ply. I'm going to go ahead and do the bird as well, because if I don't, I will forget and I will Mod Podge it on there with all the plies. What happens with that, now I'm going to save, this has got flowers all around it too, so I will save those for something else. So I'm just going to cut around the bird, but we're going to do something else around the bird as well, so to get it a little more down to size, because I don't want that harsh edge. But again, I'm going to save the scraps because they've got the prettiest little cherry blossoms, I guess is what that is, on there. Okay, so I'm going to get my fingers sticky. And it just comes right apart. I can tell that there's 3 plies there. Actually, there's 4. 1, 2, 3. There's 1, 2 that came off together. So I want to make sure that I got that last ply off of the other one. Well, this is a different napkin. The other one just had 3 plies. This one had 4. It's pretty thick. So just be very careful, delicately pull it apart. And now we've got our little bird. Hi, Betty. Betty is one of my neighbors. She lives kind of in front of me, a road over, but her mom lives in a house catty corner right behind me. So if the trees weren't in the way, we could wave from each other's back porch. So she's seeing the snow that I'm seeing today. Okay, so I'm going to bring you down. And I've got it completely done here. So I'm going to line it up. I'm going to try to leave that feather on there. Okay, I like it like that. Okay, but I'm going to cut around. Let's just cut the feather out. We may put it on separately. So we'll set that aside. We may or may not use that. We'll set that aside. Okay, and I don't want this harsh edge around here, so we're going to get it just a little damp. I'm just going to take an oval brush, a filbert brush, and get it a little damp. And where I'm going to pull around, let's see, this one's going to go over here. So I definitely want a soft edge around here. So we're going to just get it a little damp. And then just kind of pull it away at the end so you don't have that harsh edge. It's going to look a little more natural with it just torn. And I do not need that, so we can throw that away. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing on this bottom edge. Just getting it a little damp here. Just barely dipping into the water. Now if you don't remove all of the plies, once you put this on whatever piece you're working on, if you don't remove those plies, well, you're going to get it glued down. I think you've got it all glued down. Well, those plies are going to start separating on you and it'll come off. So you want to make sure that you get all of those plies off. And we did on this one. Now I'm just kind of pulling it away to give it a, no pun intended, feathered look. Just a softer edge. Now there may be times when you want the harsh edge. It just depends on what you're doing. Okay, let me see what that looks like. Okay, so I think we'll go across the top here just a little, and then along the other edge. Now you could pull it dry too. It just comes off a lot easier if you wet it a little bit and it's not near as even, which is what I'm going for with this. I don't want it super even. Okay, I'm just barely pulling it with my fingertips. Once it's wet, it comes off really easy, which is what it would do on your piece. If we don't seal it, it will come off when it gets wet. That's what a napkin's supposed to do. It's supposed to absorb moisture. And come to pieces. All right, let's see what that looks like there. All right, I like that. Now, where do I want to sit my little bird? I think we'll sit him right up above here. We'll make some branches come out. Okay, so let's go ahead and Mod Podge this down. Just going to use my 1.5 inch brush, flat brush. And we're just going to put Mod Podge right over. You don't want a lot, just enough to kind of secure it, and then we'll go over it. Good. You want enough to make sure that it's going to adhere. Make sure you get it off the edges. And I'm going to let it hang off the edge just a little bit. Okay, I'm going to get a little more under those edges. It didn't come out quite far enough. Now there's a different way that you can do this to not get wrinkles in your napkin, but I kind of like the wrinkles. I think it gives it texture. I really like the texture that it gives. Okay, and I'm just mashing it down very gently, looking for any places that are sticking up. Okay, I'm gonna wipe my hands off. And then I'm going to take my chip brush, my clean chip brush, balance that down good. You want it to really adhere to that surface. Okay. All right, let's do the same thing with our bird. Let's go around his little head. Just do a little section at a time. And I got that one a little bit too wet. I want to be careful and not tear his head. Don't want to tear his beak off. It's sticking to my finger because I still got a little bit of Mod Podge on them. So I'm just kind of going around the shape of the bird. Now if you did pull a part off that wasn't supposed to come off, you could kind of puzzle piece it back together. Okay, so I'm just pulling away very gently. Getting very close to his head there, so I want to be very careful. Okay, let's let him sit there and just kind of dry for just a minute. All right, so I'll just get some of that moisture out. Hi Patty, I'm back. Still crafting, so I thought I'd bring y'all on board too. Okay, so we've got our nest on there. So I want to decide, where do I want this little mama to sit? Pulling just a little more of that off. Okay, so we got all that pulled off. Enough that I think we're going to be good. So we're going to add a little bit of color to make it match. And we're going to bring out some branches down here. Now we could even, I only have one of these napkins and there were only 2 birds. Some napkins you get have 4 full pictures on it, but some of them only have 1 picture and then the rest of it's just filler. Let's see here. I could put a little flower coming out from there. All right, let's use this little guy here. Just to kind of fill in that bottom space. Remember, I've got to separate them. Those that went to my live event last year, we did some Mod Podging on canvas. So it's pretty much the same technique. All right, so I got all the plies to come off at once, so we're good on that. But I'm going to go ahead and pull around it because I don't want this one to have harsh edges and all the others to be soft edges. Now I don't have to be as careful with this one. It's just flowers, so I don't have to worry about a beak or head or tail feathers. Okay, and I think we'll put let me see which way I want it to go. I think we'll put that one right there. All right, let's go get ahead and get it secure. Okay, and now let's put our little mama bird out here. Let's go ahead and paint. I'm going to use sable brown, Deco Art sable brown, and we'll make a few little branches coming out there. And then we're going to do some more embellishing on it. So I'm just going to do some random branches coming out. We're going to put little mama bird about right there, so we'll have some branches coming out. Just using a liner brush, because I don't want her to look like she's just sitting in thin air. And we'll come in with a little bit of this color, just wiping it on a little bit here and there just to bring out the color in that branch. Now she can just sit right on top of that. Okay, let's draw our paint. Now let's get some Mod Podge for this little bird. All right, let's get our little chip brush. Now I'm going to add a little more pink into these flowers just to kind of make them a little more cohesive. So I'm going to use peony pink. Then I'm also going to use some turquoise. It's called Aqua Sky. Not much, just enough to give a little bit of color to make them cohesive here. Patty, is Seti liking the snow? Okay, so I'm going to put some on, but then I'm going to get most of it off. And we're just going to go a little bit on the top here with some of that pink, and then just rub it in. Okay, we're going to go a little more pink with the flowers. Just some little dabbles here and there. You don't want it just super bright. Just enough to kind of bring them, because these flowers have a lot of pink in them. I'm just barely touching. Okay, and then I'm going to take a little bit of that turquoise blue. It's called Aqua Sky. Too much water. And wipe most of it off. And come down here at the bottom of these eggs and give them just a little bit of that, just a hint of that turquoise color. Okay, and then around the edge, we're going to go with Folk Art, and it's called Sky Blue. And we're just going to go a little bit around the edge with that, just to give it a little bit of color, and we're going to put some on the eggs as well. Now, I could float on this, but remember, it's napkins, so you don't want to get them very wet. So I'm using that Aqua Sky Folk Art, and I'm going to go in and put a little bit of that color in there, just to kind of soften it up. Now I am putting a little bit of water in it, just loading my brush up, and we're just going to go along the edges a little bit, just here and there, to give it a little bit of that blue. And I'm just going to rub it in. corners. All right, now my brush is dry again, and I'm going to put a little bit more of that color where it's blue. Back here, I'm going to soften it up just a little bit with this color. Just barely tapping it. But just to kind of soften that blue. It's a little bit brighter blue. I love birds. Evidently God did too when he created them, because he sure mentions them a lot in a lot of different ways in the Bible. Okay, so even if we stopped right there, it would be so cute. But we're not. We're not done. We do have to go ahead and get the rest of the Mod Podge on it before we do our next step. Hi, Wanda. Yes, it is. They are both napkins. I've taken part of one napkin and part of another, and just kind of puzzled them together. This is the napkin. It's just got 4 nests on it. And then I took a bird off of this, and we just kind of pinched off around her. And now we're Mod Podging, and then we're going to do, got a couple more steps to do. Going to add a few more things. Now I'm being careful not to go across the napkin, raising it back up. Going down where the edges are down. And we'll have to hit this with the dryer here in just a second. But you do want to, anytime you're using paper, you want to be sure you seal it. I'm going to go ahead and seal the edges too. This piece really doesn't necessarily need it, but we'll go ahead and do it. Make it easier to clean. Easier to dust. Okay, I'm getting the edges of that napkin down really well. Again, I don't mind the wrinkles, but there is a technique using a little iron and I think parchment paper that you can get the wrinkles out, but I kind of like the wrinkles. Okay, I think we're good there. All right, so I'm going to put my brush in. The glue, actually it looks like I needed a little more. I just put that one in water, so I'm going to stick this little one in here. There was a spot that I had missed. Okay, so I'm putting the lid back on my Mod Podge so it doesn't dry out, and let's dry this a minute. It'll take it just a couple of minutes to get dry enough to do what we're going to do with it. When you do Mod Podge, it goes on really milky. It looks like milk, but then it dries real clear. And then I'll show you the difference in the colors with the white background and then without the white background. Okay, so what's everybody fixing for supper tonight? I think tomorrow I'm going to do a big stew with cornbread. But tonight I'm making tacos and Spanish rice. My hubby was hungry for tacos. So that's what we're going to fix tonight. Now you could pull out any color with this, you know, you wanted to. I've just got the kind of light turquoise around. You could do a different color blue. You wouldn't even have to do that around the edges. I just chose to do that. Okay, see how it's starting to get clear now? And those colors are really starting to pop. I want it to be good and dry up here. Now it really needs to set up for a few hours. It dries clear pretty fast, but I would let it harden, maybe even overnight to cure. But for video time's sake, we're going to do that. Now I want to show you the difference after we get finished. So there's the colors on that one. But let's go ahead and add. I've got a charm off of I really don't know what it came off of. I had a couple of them that I'd gotten, I think, at a garage sale. So this one's a little bee, a little silver, maybe a necklace or bracelet charm. So we're going to put him, we'll put him right up here. And then I want to add some buttons as well. So let's do, that one's too big. I don't like that one. So we could put a button there. Maybe a button here. Let's see if I need any buttons anywhere else. I like this one. It looks really, it's got a lot of texture to it. So you can just play around with them a lot. Like that. I like that wood look there. We could just add a couple there. Now we could also, let me get that sable brown again. We could put some branches coming up behind her. And then we'll put a little more Mod Podge over it. Bring some branches in this color here so that it just coordinates with it. And kind of fills in that space. Okay, so we're going to use our stick fast glue again. Okay, so I'm going to put it on the back of the button. And I'm going to try to be careful this time and not glue my fingers together. Hold it down just a couple seconds, just till it sets up. Okay, I'm going to put this on the surface itself. And just press down. Same thing on this one. One of these are probably going to end up in my downstairs bathroom. It's decorated in birds and bird nests, so I will probably end up keeping one of these. Okay, those are set. Now let's put a couple up here. Which ones I want to use? Oh yeah, I like that side of it. Drop it and press. Now that will ooze through the buttonholes, so don't get your finger on there or you're going to be glued to the button. Trust me, I know. From experience. I think I like that side better. You could do this with jewels. You could do it with just about anything. Now this was a much thicker button so that it's not oozing up against it, through it. Okay, yeah, let's put one right here. Now, is a tree and a bird nest, are they going to have buttons all over them? No. But when you're crafting, you do what you know, whatever you want to embellish it. Okay, now the tricky part with this little guy is, and I wanted to go ahead and Mod Podge that because if you Mod Podge over this, it's not as glossy. It loses the gloss. And he's kind of tricky. So I have to get quite a bit over here because he only touches the surface in a couple of little tiny places on his wings. So I have to be really careful with that. Hi, Jean. You made a dish of chicken Alfredo from scratch. Ooh, that sounds so good. Olive Garden's recipe. Oh, that sounds so good. Okay, so we're just going to put him about right here, just flying out. So I'm going to put a pretty good puddle, so it'll take it a minute to dry. But it will dry clear. And then I'm going to put him down with this little guy with my tweezers. And then press him on. Okay, so it's going to take him just a minute to dry because I put a little more glue in there just to grab him. He wants to keep popping up, so I have to hold him down a minute. And then I'll check him here in just a little bit, just to make sure he's good and secure. Okay, so I'm going to lay the two down here. Now the first one is very muddled, but I like it. Let's see, I'm going to put just a tad bit of yellow on those eggs, and then we've got to Mod Podge a little bit more right there. So this is just deco art or no, it's Ceram Coat, and it is pale yellow. So I'm going to put just a touch of yellow on there. Just kind of in the middle, just barely. Just where the highlights are. Almost a dry brush. Okay, so thought we were done Mod Podging, but I'm going to put, since we put some paint on there, I'm going to Mod Podge not around the buttons or the bee. Just where we painted a little more. Get my brush dry. And then I'll show you the difference, the comparison in the two. Okay, so we added a little bit of paint here. We added those branches. So I want to protect those. Because if you don't, it will scratch off, the paint will scratch off. Okay, so I think we're good there. Okay, let's dry it right quick. Get it clear, and then we'll compare. I have that drawer over there that I showed you guys live. I think last week, all those different color drawers. There's 20 drawers in it. That's what I have all my napkins in, and I have them color coded. All of the orange ones are fall. All of the green ones are spring, like birds and flowers. And then I have the red is all Christmas. Blue is anything patriotic. And then purple is animals, any kind of animals like kittens, horses. Make sure those buttons are on there good. Yes, they are very secure. Okay, that's good. Okay, now I'm going to let it dry for quite a while, but here's what we've got. Isn't it just so adorable? I just love it. She's watching over her babies. Okay, now that's with the white background. I painted a little bit of white on there to bring out the colors in the napkin. Whatever background you have, that's the color. That's what's going to come through on the napkin. So let me show you the difference. Now this one, these you could set up like this. You could put a block of wood across it to set it up. An old picture frame backing if you wanted it to set up like a shelf sitter. But on this one, I chose to make it a hanger. I've got some pretty gold rope. But here's the difference. This one is I did not paint the background. I left it just like it is. And it's very muddled, I guess you would say. That's kind of hard to see on camera. But it still is very pretty. It's just a whole different technique. The colors of the background came through. On this, the bottom one, the colors of the napkin came through a lot more. Very bright. See the difference in the birds? Both are fine. It's just a completely different, different look. And I just took some old buttons that I had. You could even write something up, up here. You could do some clouds or some sky if you wanted to. But I love the touch of the little bumblebee. You could even just paint a bumblebee. But that's how long did that take us? Probably 30 minutes, maybe, if you would consider, you know, putting this finish on the board as well. But not very long at all. And the technique of tearing the napkins versus cutting them on this one, I love the soft edges that it gave even on the edge of it. So for $6, and then the cost of the 2 napkins, you know, you've got a very nice gift and something very nice to sell. So you can hang it. Now this one, they put the things up a little higher on it. It sits back a little more. I would put something on under it to make, or behind it, to make it a little more stable. This one sits up fine. So it just depends on the piece. But hang it, sit it down. You can even do something with just flowers or something on it and have it as something to, you know, to lay something on, to set something on. I don't know, I might say, no, please don't set something on that, but you know, you could. So that's just an easy way to use napkins. You could also use we're going to be decoupaging again some more clipboards that I'm going to be doing. So we're going to be doing that. But I have so many people ask, where do you get your napkins? And I'm always on the lookout for napkins. When I go on vacation and we go to little antique shops, sometimes they'll have packages of napkins because they are becoming a lot more popular because they know people are doing this. But most of mine I get at, online. I'll go to paper, P-A-P-E-R, style, STYLE.com. I think that's where the bird nest one came off of. But if you will just Google, if you'll go on and Google decorative paper, be sure you put paper, napkins for decoupaging. Decorative paper napkins for decoupaging. Tons of stuff will come up. I get a lot of mine off of Etsy. Now I will tell you, watch the price. You may pay $2 for one napkin, but you're going to get 4 pictures. And so you might get, you know, a really good napkin that way, but then you have to watch. If they don't include shipping and handling, like I was going to get 2 napkins that were going to be $6, but the shipping and handling was going to be $18 through an Etsy vendor. So be sure and watch, you know, for your shipping and handling, because a lot of these I've gotten, they included that in the price. And I got a package, the bird nest ones was a whole package of 40. And, you know, but some napkins they do sell individually, and some of those, you know, that's okay. If you pay $1 something for a napkin and you put it on a piece like this and you charge, you know, $15 or $20 for it, that's great. But you don't want to pay $20 shipping and handling for $1 something napkin, you know, that you purchase. So just watch that. But I've gotten some wonderful ones off of Etsy, some really cute ones that I'm so excited to really start doing things with. I did use some on clipboards, and I did those as Christmas gifts, and they went over very well. So you can add them to just about anything. That Mod Podge is wonderful, but I think it made a cute little gift. So the colors are even more vivid here, but buttons, I love, love, love buttons. I use them on so many things, and I have a full jar over there. I never turn away free buttons. So be on the lookout for buttons. Be on the lookout for little charms in the button section, or even in the jewelry section. You know, like at Hobby Lobby or Walmart, they'll have like beading sections or something, and they'll have little things like this. I don't know where I got this, honestly. I had 2 of them. But you know, don't ever throw anything away like that. You just never know when it's going to come in handy. So there you go. There's another project. I may be on here again. I'm on a roll but today. But thanks for joining me. And if I would appreciate it very much if you give me those hearts if you liked the project. Don't just do it to do it, but and also sprinkle the videos. Facebook loves it when you sprinkle. It helps me with my numbers. And I appreciate you being on here so much. Wish we were all together and we could just sit at a table and craft together, but this is the next best thing. So there you go. All right. Maybe I'll see you tonight or maybe tomorrow. Have a great evening. I'm going to go play in the snow. I think I'm going to see if there's enough to make me some snow ice cream. All right. Bye-bye.